Now is political commentator Jim Warren, executive editor of NewsGuard, which rates the credibility of news and information sites. He has 4 takeaways from President Biden's inauguration. Good morning, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Good morning, guys.
All right, let's start with the not-so-peaceful transfer of power, meaning all the armed presence we had there.
Yeah, Robin. Well, the sight of the National Guard essentially guarding the nation against itself at an inauguration was unsettling. Not too far away, given the siege of a few weeks ago, there were still broken windows. There were still spray-painted walls. As far as transfer of power, the predecessor, Trump, was obviously a no-show, preferring that sort of odd self-produced 21-gun salute at Andrews Air Force Base. Mike Pence not even showing up. All in all, it was sort of a virtual inauguration for a virtual age, just like Glenn Marshall mentioned, going to be virtual prayer breakfast this morning. And for Trump, it was really more an abdication than a transfer of power, not even welcoming the Biden family to the White House.
All right, point 2, Joe Biden's big dare.
Larry, I think the big dare is tearing to be sort of boring. His address, was rhetorically maybe not the greatest we've ever heard. There were some nice words said about it, but it was very solid, very Biden. He made clear he's a guy who's going to prefer long discussions to tweets. He's going to prefer a reliance on science to misinformation. He is going to have daily press briefings for the first time in a long time. All in all, he was Joe Biden. He symbolized a return in theory to normalcy. We'll see.
All right. A picture worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, I think there were 2. I think, first of all, there was Kamala Harris being sworn in by the first Latina Supreme Court justice using the Bible of the first African-American justice of the Supreme Court, Thurgood Marshall. And then there was that really vivid scene at Arlington National Cemetery of the 3 former presidents, Obama, Bush, and Clinton, taped informally and shown last night during the entertainment portion of the inauguration, basically voicing, I think, very impassioned support for Joe Biden and, in a way, implicitly, sort of good riddance to Donald Trump.
And point number 4, the big questions.
Yeah, I think the big questions are, A, is Joe Biden going to be able to pass a $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief bill? That is very unclear. Second, when will Nancy Pelosi pass along those articles of Trump impeachment to the U.S. Senate? When and if are we going to have a trial? And finally, I think a bigger, sort of more metaphysical, tougher question is, can Joe Biden govern a country where, by conservative estimates, 35 to 40 million people still do not believe that he fairly won the election, which is absolutely dead wrong. Finally, one point, guys, Larry and Robin, what about Amanda Gorman, the 22-year-old poet? I mean, those words, the astonishing grace, that amazing poise, how untalented did she make you feel? Ultimately, I think it was one of the more stirring moments and really gives one hope about the future if there are young people like that out there.
Very true. Jim Warren, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Jim.